Welcome back, folks, to another episode of my van conversion. I think like most people that do van conversions, or vans in particular, like the fact that they can do this and be off the grid. That's what this episode is about, and that's why I'm excited about it, because I finally finished and got my whole solar system in here, and it's working really well. So I want to take you through my journey through this. We'll go through it step by step. I won't bore you with a bunch of details, which I'm probably doing already, but I will show you some essential points and things that I did to make this easier for me. A lot of the equipment that I will be showing you in this, I'll put links down below. Some of the stuff that I didn't buy directly from Renogy, which was a majority of the equipment I bought, I also got that same equipment, Renogy equipment, through Amazon, and in some cases I got it for a lot cheaper. And if that's the case, I'll put those links below also. So here we go. This is why I'm excited about this particular part of this conversion. To me, this now gives me the ability to be able to go anywhere I want and charge my batteries. Keep in mind, I do have a DC to DC 20 amp charger that runs from my alternator back to my batteries as another source, but is that truly off the grid? I have to turn my vehicle on. I have to use gas in order to do that. I could plug into shore power. Definitely not off the grid. So that leaves me with solar, and that's why this is exciting to me. So anyway, here we go. Let's get into this, and this is where it all started. Okay, battery number 2 just arrived. There's battery 1 over there. You can see the weight on these, 65 pounds per battery. So let's get this opened up. These are the terminals for the top. And there she is. There it is. Renogy 12 volt, 100 amp hours. So basically, with deep cycle AGM batteries, now that I have two 100 amp hours of batteries, it really results in 100 amp hours, because you never bring your batteries down below 50%. So now with that one over there and this one, I'm good to go. Got the other battery in, as you can see. Now, if you don't know how this works, I ran these batteries in parallel, which means positive, positive, negative to negative, which means that I kept the batteries at 12 volt system, but I raised from 100 amp hours up to 200 amp hours. Now, if I was to go positive to negative, positive to negative, that would be run in series, and that would raise my voltage to 24 volt, but still only have 100 amp hours. So I'm looking for more amp hours, and so I ran them in parallel. Once they're fully charged, I will then reset my battery monitor to 100%, but now raise it to a 200 amp hour system, and all my then it'll just start reading off of 200 amp hours and 12 volt. My solar panels are due to arrive today from Federal Express, so I had to sign for them. I got 200 watt monocrystalline solar panels coming. But in the meantime, I ordered my additional equipment to get this project going. First of all, let me go with, when I first ordered this stuff, I had to order what they call the solar adapter kit. What that is two 10-foot, both positive and negative, going from a male and a female MC4 connectors that will go to my solar charge controller and to my batteries. Well, at the time I ordered them, I wanted to get 10 gauge wire, but they're out of stock. So I went ahead and I ordered the 12 gauge, thinking, well, maybe that'd be okay. So it arrived, and then I thought, well, you know, maybe I should ask Renogy. So I sent an email to Renogy and finding out what the recommendation was and what I thought, and which I thought too, the recommendation was that I should be using 10 gauge wire for this setup. So they were out of stock. And I did not want to hold this project up. So this 12 gauge with the MC4 female and male connectors will be going back. What I did do, I went to Amazon and I actually found 10 feet of 10 gauge, same exact connectors, male, female, but they're in red and black. Renogy's just came in black. So when you're running it through the van and you're down by your battery and charge controller, you know, you got to follow that positive, negative, male, female line down there. Where here we'll know what it is. So I end up ordering these from Amazon, came in within 1 day, 10 feet of 10 AUG, number 10 wire, same exact MC4, exactly the same MC4 male and female connectors, and they were a lot less money. From Renogy, I've got the housing, the cable entry housing with the 2 connectors. This will go on my roof of my van, and I'll seal this down, and it'll be where this wires will come down through at the 2 ends. These are the MC4 branch connectors. These will then hook my 2 monocrystalline 100 watt panels in parallel and be able to come down through 1 wire. This is my 30 amp Rover solar charge controller from Renogy. I also ordered is a carbide blade 10-inch for my miter saw so I can cut. Just arrived right on time from Renogy. I'm assuming these are 2 100 watt monocrystalline compact solar panels. Let's open them up, and hopefully nothing has broken. Both of them seem to be in good shape. Turn the panel over. They're only supposed to weigh, I think, around 14 pounds each, but you can see I think there's like 3 feet of cable there coming off the panel, and it's already pre-drilled with some holes in them so I can put my brackets and line them up. And some information on there seems to be whatever, I'll read that later. I think I have everything, so hopefully we can get these up in the next couple days and be done with the solar. Looks good. This is what I have here. I'll put the link also in the description down below. But these are made especially for the ProMaster. This is some of the hardware that came with it. Came with 6 of these. So that's what I have. That's what I'm working. I'm going to get up now and clean those section of the runner on the roof and go ahead and start cutting out the flat bar. Somehow I'm going to have to get some kind of square or close to a square hole in it to fit the carriage bolt up in it. And then we'll get these puppies up there. Nancy up on the roof, we found a couple little rust from the metal flakes that we did not clean off properly when we did the fan. So we're trying to get those off and put a little bit of touch-up paint on them.
How goes your project?
Pretty good.
Good. Is that the 136-inch wheelbase?
That's the 136, yeah. I've got the first side on. I've got the brackets on here, the 2 brackets. Really solid. Solid. And you can see where I put the cross brackets for the angle brackets are going to come across. And a word to the wise, make sure you put them in before you put this on because you'd have to take it all off again. These are the DIY ones with the rubber stoppers on it. All right, I have both sides of this done. I've got these ready for my cross aluminum L brackets, or what do you call them? Angle brackets. And it's on there real tight. This is real sturdy. So I got this up pretty quickly. I'm really happy with how sturdy it is. I think it's going to work out real good. So moving on now to measuring up the distance between these and to put the cross brackets on to attach my solar panels to, and I think it's like 5 feet, but I'm going to double check. And I'm also going to use a sacrificial piece of 1x2 to measure it out, mark it, and then transfer those marks over to my aluminum brackets. So let's get on it. For the cross sections of the aluminum angle bars, I took and sacrificed a piece of 1x2 and I drilled some holes and I made sure it fit from side to side. It was exactly 5 feet and I was able to come in like 1 inch on each side. So what we did is I transferred that over to cut a 5-foot section off there and cut a 5-foot section off there. We traced out the holes in the bottom and on the top up there, and then we cut them out also over here on the aluminum. You can see where we marked them out, and put enough holes in those to make sure it's secured and are ready to go. So all right, so now we're going to attach these to the solar panels. This is going to be a monotonous thing because I got to get my fingers underneath each one of these with a stainless steel Hex Nuts. I'm using 2 washers on each one, a lock washer, and stop nuts. And I'm going to then tighten everything right down onto the frame, and then we'll go ahead and I'll carry that up onto the roof. Solar panels are up and they are solid on here. I got my wiring stuck up underneath. I'm going to put my the flange that goes into the van where I'm going to be cutting a hole right here and running my wires down through there. So God, if you saw that video before, I was struggling to get them up. They only, you know, it's like 35 pounds I guess, but it's awkward. And it started to fall over on me, but got them up here, and once they were on the roof, everything else was pretty easy. I drilled out 2 holes here. I was going to go with 1, but it worked better with the 10 gauge wire. We drilled it out, got all the metal flakes off the best we could, and put some Rust-Oleum on it. We sanded it out and filed it out, and then I'm going to glue some, actually put the grommets in it, but I'm going to glue those grommets in it and then run the that into it. So, and then we're going to seal this all around and put some adhesive sealer on it. And we did hit the spot just right where it comes down into the van, so I'm happy about that. And we'll run these wires down into the van and I'll get them all hooked up to the charge controller. Cable entry in there, it's all secure. I got the wires up and underneath the panels. This thing, I put some sealant around it and did a water test on it, and it's really dry, so that's not going to go anywhere. And these are out of the way, so now we'll go down and start working on the charge controller and get this thing finished. All right guys, here we go. I didn't bore you with all the wiring and all the setup and everything, but I will go through it with you. So anyway, this is my new Rover MPPT charge controller, and I guess that stands for Maximum PowerPoint Tracking Technology, something like that. But what it does, it gets the most out of your solar panels as you possibly can. So this is a 30 amp Rover, and here's what I did. Let's, before I even turn it on, see if it works. And here's my craziness. I took the bed frame down so I could work on this. My bed frame's usually above this. Anyway, so first thing I did was I hooked a 10 AUG wire to my positive bus bar, and I came into a 30 amp A&L fuse holder. I'm coming out of that, and I'm running, this is my battery wire going up to the charge controller, and I managed to get it all through there and all up and around, and that is this wire here in my positive. Now I ran the negative, same thing. Keep in mind, when you do these charge controllers, always hook your battery up first to have power to it. Never hook the solar cables up to it prior to hooking the battery up. I think the reason is that you'd have this power coming in with the system not on and not working, and it will do damage to your charge controller. That's just my theory. Who knows? If somebody knows the reason, let me know. So I've got the power coming up to it, and that's going through that 30 amp fuse. Now I'm coming down from the solar panels. I also ran these through the back, and I put a hole here so I have nothing underneath, because this is all going to be framed in down here. So I've got coming in from the solar panels, I'm going through, and this is off right now, it's a 30 amp breaker. I was going to put so that's in the off position right now. Plus I have and that comes up into the positive area of that. And then of course I ran the negative into this directly. This wire here is my battery temperature sensor, and that goes down, and it kind of hangs out down here, but I'll probably tape that to the battery. So we're all set up. So the first thing I want to do is bring power to the system, and yay, it turned on. Okay, so this arrow here is showing that right now I do not have anything coming in from my solar panels. So when I hit my switch on, this should, and hopefully takes time, I think. All right, okay, there we go. If you notice, there is a little arrow showing that I've got power coming in now from my solar. As we scroll through it, the first one here is the main screen. Pretty much has everything on it. You scroll through this by doing the up and down. The first thing I do, let me tell you that first thing I did, I just did this when I had the camera off, is I went over here and held this button down. This is your entry button, and I went to the type of battery I have. It goes through gel batteries, lithium batteries, and AGM batteries also. I have 2 AGM batteries, so I input that and hit enter. So with that in mind, now let me scroll through and show you what I have here. Like I said, I've got the main screen. The second item here is the solar panel voltage. It's showing 20.2 volts at this point. It's early morning. I don't know if that makes a difference. Sun's really not out that much. Right now the charging current is 0.3234 amps coming into the battery. Then it goes down to battery capacity. It is at 100% because it was at that. The next one would be what I'm sitting at battery voltage. Okay. Next one would be load current. I don't have anything on. If I had lights, nothing on right now, so there's really no load. The next one would be accumulated amp hours. So far I just turned it on. I probably don't have anything there. I'll keep an eye on that as we go on. This is showing also the, what is this? battery capacity, load current, oh, accumulated amp hours, and discharged amp hours, something like that. Let's go back to this, and that's my battery temperature. And the last one there is discharged amp hours. I'll read up on all this. And then this is your error one, and I have no errors. And now we're back at the main screen again. So you notice here it says, real quick if you can see that, I'm on 12 volt and it says boost. Now I'm going to read up on that. This flashing white light tells me that it's in boost. The battery's okay, there's no load, and there's no errors. So far so good, and that's my setup, guys. I'm stoked about it. Hopefully it's all working properly, and as the day goes on and we have some sunlight in here, I'll start putting some load on it and letting know what's going on with it. There's my Rover MPPT solar charge controller. I'm also going to be hooking up a Bluetooth module, which I can then just get the Renogy app, and I control this all from my phone also. So looking good. I'm real happy with it. So folks, you can see that it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun. It was frustrating. Carrying those panels up on the roof was a little hairy because I had to use both hands to carry it. I think there were like 35, 40 pounds to carry them up there, or there were like 100 pounds in YouTube pounds, but they were like 35, 40 pounds to carry them up there, but I had to go up the ladder without any hands. The wind was blowing a little bit and the thing started to fall back on me. Finally, I let it down lightly on the back part of it and then switched it. Once they're up there, everything went okay. Word to the wise, any of you folks out there who are going to do a van conversion, I would recommend that your solar system is one of the first things that you do. You got to come in from the ceiling. You got to find where your wiring's going to go. You got to really place all your equipment in the right area. And if you go ahead and put your ceiling up and your paneling and your fan and your lights and your walls, you're limiting yourself to your availability of where you're going to come in through the roof to attach your solar charge controller and all your equipment. I was lucky. I did find an area. It took me a little more work to get it through, but I did work it out. But to you guys out there, I would definitely do your solar system in the beginning portions of your van conversion. So anyway, I'm going to continue on this next, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I know this seat here, we're going to swivel it. Over on this side over here, we got to do our lower cabinets, and I got to put a window in here. Where the camera's sitting right now is on a cabinet where I'm going to actually have my sinks. That's what I'll be doing next on my van conversion, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we're actually, for Christmas, we got a place up in the mountains, so we'll be taking the van up there, spending a few days up there, and a couple other places on the way there and back. We're going to be doing some backpacking, and we're going to be doing some hiking and having a lot of fun. So we'll see you guys on the next one. We'll be doing that, so I hope everyone has a happy Merry Christmas and happy holidays, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.